On the 16th of September 2022, around 9 p.m., Chinese national 46-year-old Frank Geng Quarong stabbed his girlfriend Kulsum Sani Buhari multiple times at her residence in Jambulo Quarters, Kumboto local government area of Kano State, until she died. This is a case filled with passion, betrayal, and ultimately fatal consequences. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Kulsum, or Ummita as she was fondly called, was a 23-year-old final year student of agricultural sciences at the Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto State. She met Frank, an international trader and a marketer at BBY Textiles, Quarry Market, Kano, at a shopping mall in Kano State, sometime around June of 2020, and they exchanged phone numbers. Their relationship bloomed amidst promises of marriage by Ummita, with Frank even embracing Islam, her religion, to bridge the gap of their differing faith. Talk about commitment, the length one will go for love. So imagine how crushed he felt when, after nearly 2 years of being together, she broke up with him and married someone else within the same city. He was so devastated that he moved away from Kano to Abuja to start afresh. Now Frank tells his side of the story in court. He said he met the deceased in June of 2020 when Kulsum, that's Ummita, got his phone number from her friend and called to tell him she was interested in him, romantically, and God willing, she was going to marry him. So according to him, she made the first move. They started their relationship fully in July of 2020, and immediately she started asking him for money. Frank, blinded by love and perhaps naivety, showered Ummita with riches, from houses to jewelries, in a bid to win her affections. He claims he spent over 60 million on her in the 2 years they were dating. That's over $45,000. He gave her all what she wanted because he loved her. He was willing to do anything and everything just to make her happy. A house worth 4 million, a car worth 10 million, 18 million as capital to start a business. He filled her shop with 500,000 naira worth of bags and shoes and ₦1 million worth of laces and wrappers. Gold jewelry worth 5 million, 6 million to process her certificate at the university, and ₦1 million to install the solar system in their house. And the list goes on and on. Like, it's crazy how much money he spent, It's as if he had a money tree in his backyard. Even though Ummita was married, she wouldn't stop messaging him on WhatsApp, always asking for money. Then a few months later, her husband found out she was still in contact with her ex, and he ended things. Ummita reached out to Frank, saying she wanted to get back together, and even promised to marry him again. And well, love can make people do some crazy things, right? So Frank accepts without thinking too much about it. When they started preparations for their upcoming wedding, he went all out again. 1.5 million for outfits for their big day, even got a sherby for her friends, that's like bridesmaid dresses, a ton of cash for spraying at the wedding, and even traveled to Sokoto to meet her family, which is a tradition up north. He dropped over 700,000 naira just for that visit. So on September 13th, 2022, just 3 days before the tragic event, she called him again, asking for more money for the house she's building in Abuja. But he didn't have enough cash at the time, so he told her he couldn't help her this time around. After that, she stopped picking his calls because she probably thought he was broke and useless to her. Then, girl now dropped a bombshell. She said she found someone new and even sent him a picture with her new lover on WhatsApp, probably to make him jealous, and boy did it work. It's like she knew exactly how to push his buttons and get under his skin. On that unfortunate night, he called her many times, but she didn't answer. Then she finally talked to him, telling him to stop bothering her because he couldn't give her the money she requested. She also asked for her pet dog back, and he said he was bringing the dog to her. When he got to her house, he messaged her on WhatsApp. She replied, calling him stupid. Her sister came out to get the dog and left him outside under the rain for almost 30 minutes. Wet, cold and frustrated, he started banging on the door. until her mom let him in. He pushed her mom aside and went straight to Ummita's room. Things get heated and Frank ends up stabbing her. He says it was self-defense. According to him, he said she attacked him, raining abuses on him, slapping him and insulting his mom. He said she grabbed a knife and attempted to stab him, but he was able to stop her and retrieve the knife from her. She started pulling on his private part, shouting and telling her sister to call the police that he wanted to rape her. She pushed him on the bed and tried strangling him, and at that moment, still in possession of the knife, he stabbed her to stop her. He claims he had no intention to cause her any harm, but wanted to escape from her firm grip. He pleaded with the court to temper justice with mercy in its judgment. Frank's tale of self-defense clashes with the damning accusations of premeditated crime by Ummita's family. They say Frank was hot-headed and aggressive. The conflicting narratives offered by both sides paint a portrait of a relationship marred by misunderstandings and misgivings. Her older brother admitted that Frank really cared for his sister and even wanted to marry her, but their different beliefs made it tough, and their parents didn't want them to be together because of this. He admitted that Frank was generous to Ummita financially, but not as much as he's claiming. He said he didn't buy her any car or even a house like he claimed. He said they don't even own a car at home at the moment. Ummita's friend also said that Frank had a bad temper and would get angry over small stuff like slow replies in chats and all that. Ummita tried to avoid him at first, but she gave in because he converted to Islam. When Ummita got married, Frank said he'd leave her alone, but he came back after her marriage fell apart. And the mom also said that Frank always bothered her daughter, and this time he even jumped the fence and forced his way into her room after she got tired of ignoring him, which he then stabbed her. Frank was arrested and charged with culpable homicide for the death of Ummita, and he pleaded not guilty to the charge because he claims it was done in self-defense. In the course of the trial, the prosecution presented 6 witnesses to prove its case against the defendant and tendered 4 exhibits. The defense counsel also presented the defendant to defend himself and 1 other witness, then tendered 5 exhibits. On March 26, 2024, Frank was found guilty of the offense of culpable homicide, punishable with death under Section 221 of the Penal Code Law of Kano State. The presiding judge, having convicted the defendant, sentenced him to death by hanging. Delivering his judgment, the judge held that the prosecution proved its case beyond reasonable doubt and that the defendant's testimony is inconsistent. Also, in its verdict, the court further recommended the prerogative of mercy on behalf of the convict to be considered by the Kano State government. This means that the governor of the state has the power to pardon a criminal offense absolutely, and thereby relieving the defendant of all the consequences of conviction. Wow, this case is such a roller coaster. Tell me what you think about this. Do you think this was a crime of passion, a momentary lapse of reason fueled by heartbreak and desperation, or was it a cold, calculated act of vengeance? Was Ummita truly in love, or was she merely pulling Frank's strings for financial gain? Did her family actually protect her from a guy who felt rejected, or were they complicit in her manipulations? Was the ruling just, or did it fail to capture the complexities of human emotion? Honestly, in this case, I see no answers, no clear villains or heroes. One cannot help but feel a pang of empathy for Frank. At least I do. I know some might disagree. He was just a man caught in the messy mix of love and lies. As for what I think, well, it's hard to say who's really at fault here. Both Frank and Ummita seem to have made mistakes, but nobody deserves to lose their life over a failed relationship. It's just a sad situation all around. May Ummita's soul rest in perfect peace. You already know what my thoughts are with regards to this case. I'd love to know yours too. Please leave it down in the comment section. Don't forget to click that subscribe button for more mysterious cases. Thanks for watching. Bye.